Saw some photographs recently of the early days of the school. One was of one was from a film that I actually took myself, and somebody took the camera, and it's the first year, and I'm sitting there in the staff room, and this young, youthful, obviously young and youthful, but somebody who was innocent, looking forward out of the camera there, and I'm thinking, well, here we go, 50 years ago, and that school is still there, and I was there for 30 years, and what a lot of memories that produces. The school was still in the process of being built, really, in those early days, and you'd be sitting in a classroom, and you'd hear the strain is probably the word, of a builder or a painter outside, and the big song at the time was the Beatles' She Loves You. And there was this chap singing it. He'd go, she loves you, and he didn't say the yeah, 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 and he did it about 3 or 4 times. When he got to that part again, she loves you, and I went, yeah, 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 and we joined in. And gradually he realised on the other side there were people joining in with him, and that, you know, that kept him quiet. I meet a lot of the people who were at the school at the time. It's great to meet up with them. And their stories are about, you know, the times that we had. I produced a lot of magazines, and they used to write serials, which also produced on a sort of weekly basis on the old one-finger typing method. One of my first jobs, apart from being head of English and librarian, was actually to run a football team, and that team, I'm pleased to say, went on to win the first trophy that the school ever won. I was very pleased about that. And I can still tell you the names of 3 teams: the West Ham Cup winning team of '64, the English World Cup winning team of '66, and the St Thomas Aquinas first year team of the 1964 intake. Great times, and great things to look back on. One pupil was the highest scorer in one particular subject, I remember. There were amazing productions, staff pantomime I recall. There was a staff pantomime where yours truly was Sneezy and the Seven Dwarfs, and certain members of staff took enormous pleasure in plunging my face into a bowl of white foam every 4 or 5 minutes I was on stage. There's probably nothing to be, I wouldn't sneeze at that one. There was a staff barber shop, and for some reason they inveigled me to appear in that. So I can remember at Christmas time what we would do is we'd sing some sort of song full of snow and cheerfulness and so forth, and we'd put our hands in our pockets, and we'd have bits of paper flying all over our heads and things like that. So we made fools of ourselves, I suppose. But a lot of things happened, and what it indicated was a sort of tremendous spirit, and we got through it. And you know, we proved that this unworkable plan, it would in fact work, and I truly and honestly I think that it probably did. In 1979, the next great change in the school was the coming of girls, when we became sixth form entry, and the building program was completed, and we had the brand new buildings ready for, you know, the future. And between 79 and 86, the HMI that I knew, they were coming in frequently, and the local inspectorate, they said that we were, you know, one of the best schools in Birmingham. The parents certainly thought that, because we were heavily oversubscribed, and it was a success story. But I'm not saying it's a success story because of the head teacher at school. I'm saying it's a success story because everybody worked together. You know, brilliant parents, brilliant governors. We had some wonderful chaplains, fantastic pupils, and the staff were absolutely magnificent. And then in 1986 there was a plan that the local school, Archbishop Masterson, would close, and St Thomas Aquinas would operate on the 3 sites with the staff and the pupils. And I have to confess, it wasn't an easy time, but we got through it, and the building process was occurring on the Aquinas site, and so what we did is we worked on 3 sites for a couple of years, 2 sites for one, then all back on the Thomas Aquinas site, and by 1989 I think it was, we were back there, and we got to a situation where we were oversubscribed again. Things were going smoothly, so I thought in 1993 probably it was the time for me to leave St Thomas Aquinas. I did so with enormous regret, but you know, it's the old cliche, but when people say, it's better to say, why is he going, rather than to have people whispering, possibly in corners, don't you think it's about time he went? For one reason or another, I took the decision anyway, and I would say that through the years, probably with all the difficulties the school has had, probably it's winning, and it's certainly winning now under my successor Jim Foley, my good friend, and you know, I think the school has done what Archbishop Grimshaw said to me and said to the class the day the school opened. He came in, and 30 awestruck boys and one awestruck teacher stood in the presence of this august figure, and he said to us all, this school is going to produce great things. And I think it probably has done, and it continues to do so now.